What's up, guys? So we're finally here for the setup tutorial, and we're going to be doing all the maps today, but starting here we're going to be on Ascent on A site, and first we're going to talk about sonic sensors. So how the video is going to work is sonic sensors are going to be, so we'll do sonic sensor on A, then B, then we'll do walls on A and B, and then we'll move on, because the net is more of a reactive tool. Or if I have something with the grab net specifically in the setup, I will show you guys how to do it. But starting on A here with our sonic sensors, for a standard setup, what I like to do is use this as a reference, and so you put it down on this triangle right here, and you don't want to aim down too much, because what I've learned recently is if you do something like this, if you listen, it can't even hear me right here. So what we want to do is we want to, you know, it starts doing that little resist. You want to resist, do it, and then just go down a little bit more. And then see even that is a little too much. So let's try it one more time. That should be good. Yeah, see, now it can hear me all the way over here. So that way when they're pushing in the site, if you're trying to hold them and you're expecting them to get stunned, you know, they don't get stunned right here, because by the time they're here, they're going to have enough time to react to you. But if they get stunned over here, you can actually swing off of your stun. Then the other one that goes with that sensor is this one over here. You want to make sure that the blue line is a little bit into the box. So right here. Listening. So that way, if when they're pushing in the site, if they come over here for cover to, like, you know, hold like this, they don't accidentally set it off, and then when they start pushing in the site, they get stunned. All right, and post-plant stuns for A attack, one thing that you can do is if you come here to Heaven, and you put this one here, this will actually hit the people in Heaven. And this is not my own trip. This was found by, I'm pretty sure Flow Ascending. If not, I will try and find the person that made it and give them credit. You'll see it on screen right now. And then the other trip, you can just put one right here. So that way when they break, you don't want to put it too close so they don't set it off. But once they break door, they'll come out and get stunned. I probably wouldn't put any other trips when attacking on A. Okay, so now we're running over to B. B is a little bit different because you can kind of run a lot of setups. It kind of depends on how you want to play. But for a standard setup, honestly, this one right here is insanely good, because when people are coming out, they're usually kind of like looking like this or this way, which the sun is right here when you're looking this way, but most of the time you're looking towards here or stairs or here, so you're not really going to expect this. And with the new buffs and it going off in 0.5 seconds, most of the time people aren't going to catch the sun. So this one's a really good one. Then you can also just throw one here. You can even do like you can bend this one, so that way it catches them going in, and then you can take one of your other suns and put it here on site. If we take this sensor and grab this vandal, you can even do something like this. If you take it and you bend it just slightly, it comes out straight, so that way when they jump out, this will hit them. You can even do something like this, where you put it down just a wee bit. Let's pick this up to make sure this one's working. Yeah, see, this one will even work. You can always put, and then you can always put one over here. And as you can see on the map, they're barely intersecting over each other. So when they jump in, unless someone is for some reason super aware of your stun. So that is one. This is another thing I want to explain real quick. You hear how we can hear the stun? So that means if someone's too close, they're going to set it off. So we want to put this a little bit lower, so that way it's not touching. Sound sensor up. Yeah, see, now it's not touching lanes. So that way if we jump down, stunned, and then if someone else jumps down with you, they are also stunned. The other thing that I haven't personally tried it yet, but one thing that you can do is if you come over here, this is a wall I found on stream. Now, this wall seems weird at first, but it denies you a very large chunk of area and forces you to go to site, which then means you can push your sensors in places that are almost unbreakable. That being right here and right here. And then what you do is you stand back here and wait for the stuns to go off. Swing, you can kill the people that are down here without lane seeing you. So I think those are also really good trips. All right, now sonic sensors on attack for B. One really good one after you take in sight is this. You just want to make sure you don't bend it up too much, but the benefit being is that no one's going to look down to destroy this. One that's hard to get but can be, you know, kind of a funny one is if you put it on this lamp, as you can see, it does hit you. And those are just some really good post-plant trips that I like to do. The other one is obviously putting it like out here or down on the ground, so that way when they jump in, they get stunned. Now, for some defense walls, honestly, I do come up with like, I do have a wall lineup video that I'll show on screen right now. I do have a wall lineups, but I personally end up actually not really using them that much. Not that they're bad, but it's more, her kit is very reactive, so you're going to be reacting to a lot of situations, so it's hard to kind of sit in a lineup spot, especially if you don't have like an info for a main. So with her wall being, or with her kit being very reactive, for the wall, personally, my only thing is you just want to make sure that you get the orbs as far into sight as possible. So doing something like this to where they have to come out and break the orbs is really good. Alright, so for one wall that you can do on attacks, since most of them are reactive, if you do want to do this as like an eco strat or a pistol round strat, what you do is you push yourself up into this corner, and you can see there's this, like, I know this is really specific, but if you see right here, there's this one grass stain away from all the others, and then there's this right up to the right of it, there's a part of the walkway that looks like this. Once you see it in game and you do it a few times, it becomes pretty consistent. But what you can do is you wall boost with this, which I do plan on making a more specific video. But for a quick tutorial, you throw the wall, and as the wall is building, you press W, just tap it like that, and then you just jump and don't touch any of your other directional keys. Like this. And it boosts you up here. So this kind of gives you just like a weird spot. No one's going to expect Deadlock to be up here. Then you can put like a trip over there. And, you know, you can even put a trip in the, like on the stair right here in the main way. So that way you can stun them as they come out. So earlier I talked about the wall that you put here, and it blocks all this out to where you can put your trips over here. But a trip, a wall that you can put down for a more basic area is if you're playing stairs, you can line up yourself up on the left side of this first stair. And you're looking at the Kingdom logo over here with the green, and putting the bottom left of your logo, I'll zoom in to show you guys, on the top left of the Kingdom logo, or the green, sorry. And then you're just going to go ahead and toss it. And that gives you a pretty basic wall. You could do this one before, maybe just barely not able to do it before, but you can do this one, which is just a good way of stopping them. This is where you would put like a trip over there and then maybe one trip down there, because we're not denying this in the back area. And this this next part goes for kind of the rest of the video. The Gravnet is an ability that does pair very well with lineups, but on defense, it is just a very big reactionary tool. But I will give one tip for you guys, and that being that make sure you have your Gravnet cooked already, because one thing I like to do is I like to sit CT, and when I hear them breaking my wall, I kind of don't do it immediately as they start breaking the wall, but a little bit afterwards when the wall's about to break, you just toss it, and that'll catch them immediately, which will slow them down even more. Again, you're not really looking at these abilities to kill, you're looking at it to slow down everybody. That is what Deadlock is very, very good at compared to the other Sentinels, is she's very good at slowing down the enemies. So, the reason why you want to cook your grenade beforehand is because sometimes you get caught out, and let's say I have a Vandal. You know, if you don't want to be doing this, but once you have your grenade cooked already, you can jump throw it, and it lands in the middle. So just a quick little tip for you guys. And then that's all I really have to say for Ascent when it comes to setups. Again, Deadlock is a very reactionary character, so you're going to have to be relying on just reacting to stuff and thinking about how you specifically want to do it. But for some go-to setups, those are my basic setups for A and B on Ascent, and now we will be moving over to Bind. Alright, so now we're on Bind, and one quick tip I want to give you guys is on pistol round, I highly recommend just going A immediately. If you have a Sentinel that you trust, you can let them go A if you guys are playing double Senty, but if you are playing Deadlock, I recommend going A on pistol round, because most of the time people go A. It's kind of rare for people to go B. It is a 50-50 chance no matter what, but I've seen more people go A, and I think her utility does very well on A. It's not that it does bad on B, but A can be hard to hold if you don't have Sentinel utility. So, and this is also the site I like to play more, even though B does have a sensor that I prefer more. So, starting with A, we have a few things to talk about. So when I play A, there is a wall I really like to do that I found. So if you come up here on the left and you line yourself up with the left side of bench, you look at there's these three little, like, I call them like pegs. You look at the third peg and take the bottom right of your HUD and put it on top of that third peg, and then you jump throw. And what this allows, it allows a really safe deadlock wall for showers. This is really good because a lot of people like to push showers late, or they like to walk up slowly. So this allows you to just kind of turn your brain off and not look over at this area. And now you may wonder, why do we need to do a lineup to like be extra, you know, we could always just throw something like this. But what this allows you to do is, you see how this is all the way out here? Some people will try and get a sneaky kill on you, and they'll swing out like this, and they can see all the way back here, so there's no hiding from it. One wall I saw from a Deadlock YouTuber was named Locked. I don't remember how to do it perfectly, but he ends up throwing it like through this. Just say it lands. And that's also a really good option. Main thing is you want this to be as deep as possible, because how we're gonna play this is we're gonna throw our sensors on this angle right here, and then we're gonna throw one right here, enough to where it's not going into the truck, because we want as much area covered as possible. And most likely you'll have like a duelist or your initiator or brim playing this area, and they'll smoke this off for you, and you can just let them know that they have sensors here to play off of. And then you can sit shower side, and you have your net to throw out and stop them. You have your net to use over here if they start breaking the wall. And then you can tuck back in showers if they all are storming down A main. So this is the main way that I like to play A. It's like my bread and butter setup. This is the go-to. But obviously we need to switch our setups. So another one that I also like to do is using this box. The only problem is you got to be careful, because some people, if you have a teammate that's jumping around here, they'll spray it and they'll accidentally end up hitting your sensor. So you can either fix that by putting this on the pot. You can also put it on this right here. You can do this sensor right here, that the Bonnie sensor, where if you bend it down like that, and then you sit next to it just to make sure you can hear the sound, that it's not messed up. Because like I said on Ascent, if you bend it down too much, none of this is going to get stunned. They'd have to be walking right here, which people tend to stay away from teleporters so they don't accidentally go in. So yeah, you only have to do just a tiny bit, because we are pretty tall already. So those are sensors that you can also do. Then there's also doing sensors like this. We'll just say this one, for example. And then coming over here and using the top of this, you bring it over enough to where the blue bar comes out like this, and you bend it down just a tiny bit. And as you can see, this is a really, really good one, because a lot of people don't expect it to be up here, and then they swing out and they get stunned. And when you do split the sensors up like that, I tend to throw my wall like this and try to get the person that likes to peek up here. You can even do something like kind of like this, where it denies, you can't really peek out of it, but you can like get some pretty cheeky kills by standing in like this, and it blocks their access to lamps. Okay, so on B, and everyone that has played Deadlock knows that if you just put your sensor right here, this is such a good sensor because it's pretty much impossible to break. Like, you'd have to come all the way up here, because if you do, let's see, yeah, look, it barely even touched it, right? It was like right there. I don't know if that would break it or not. I'm not sure on the hitbox of it, but if you are worried about it getting hit, you can go so low that it just barely peeks over the box, and if you stand on the box, you can see that it's going to hit us. So, I pretty much would never not throw that sensor, because it's pretty much impossible for them to break unless they have some type of utility that can break it. So, this sensor is pretty much a no-brainer. Everyone does it. There's no reason to really not place it unless they're for some reason or somehow breaking it. The other sensor is the one that has a little bit more flexibility to it. You can put it on this, which I think is a really good one, because most people are going to be looking here and here when they go in the site, so it's going to catch them off guard. You can do this one. The only problem is that if they path around this way, they can get around it, but most likely someone is going to get hit by it. One thing that I like to do on like, I did this on a pistol round and I got a ton of kills from it, is if you wait for the barriers to drop, you can put your sensor in here, which a lot of people will not expect it, and they end up swinging into it, and you play close, and then you just... And that can be like a really good eco round strat or something like that. And same, another one that you can do is you want to try and beat the people, like they're starting all the way back here. You have a lot of time to get it down, but you like hold your sensor out and walk back and then toss it here. This is also another one that you can kind of like sneakily hide in here. If you're feeling really bold, you can come over here and make sure that it's going to bend and do this one. These are all really good sensors that people are not going to expect, but you can pretty much only do them one round and then it's over. For walls on B, there's pretty much only one you want to throw, and that's this one. Just throwing it in general, there's really no other reason to throw another wall. The only thing I can think of is if you're trying to mess with the enemies and you want to do this type of wall, where when they jump out, they pretty much cannot get out. There's no way of them jumping over it, which can hold them in place, because most people go hookah and then they split long. And besides that, I don't really have any other bind tech for you guys that isn't the ult or like a lineup for the grabnet. Again, same thing as Ascent. Grabnet is a very reactive tool. Like one thing that you can do is you can sit backside and you can toss it out like this, and going off of this, or you can toss it here, oops, or you can toss it up there. If you do want something for the grab net, what you can do is, if you know no one's coming to your site, you can come on top of this box, push yourself up against the right side. You're gonna be looking right here, and you're taking the middle line in your HUD and just putting it up into the corner. And then if you jump throw, it should land in right here. And it will hit everything besides the little corners, but most likely people aren't going to be sitting there. So that's a good way to support from the other site. I haven't used that one in a game. It is risky because you are sitting on top of this, so a lurker does have pretty much free reign on hitting you. But if you're in the middle of a rotate, or you know they're going A for sure, this can be a good net to just toss real quick. But besides that, I don't really have any other bind tech for you guys. So for now, we'll go ahead and move on to the next map, which is going to be Breeze. Alright, so now we are on Breeze, the map that is the hardest for Deadlock, and is definitely her worst map, but I think she can thrive on here very well. So, the idea for Deadlock on Breeze is B is kind of hard, which is shocking, I feel like it's going to shock a lot of people. B is very hard. The problem being that mid is such a priority right now. They either all stack A main, or they have someone go elbow or mid, and then this just becomes a catastrophe. So the best thing for you to do is just run out and throw your wall like this, enough to where it blocks them off, but it's safe enough to where you have space to rotate through mid. This wall is really good, and yes, people can still climb over this. That's going to happen no matter what Sentinel you play. But this wall is really good for denying a lot of space. Alright, and throwing that wall in mid, you're then going to be looking at your sensors on A, which is going to be doing something like this, and doing this other one up the rock. This is really good at stopping them, like hitting a ton of them. You want to hit all of them when they're all pushing out, because usually it's not a duelist just pushing head. Typically everyone's coming out together. If you don't want to do something like that, another good one is stopping the default plants and then doing this one over here. And this one is really good because you can tuck back here and you are perfectly safe, besides like a Viper Molly getting you. But when they try and swing you, they're gonna set this off because no one's gonna, swing you like this. So these are really good sensors to put. You can also just put one sensor here and one sensor here. This also covers tons of space. But besides that, I wouldn't do really anything else. If you wanted to throw your wall here and you wanted to take a sensor and put it on the defaults, you can also put one sensor up here, which isn't too bad. This can be, but the problem is that usually people that are coming up towards this part are usually walking in because they're trying to catch the people rotating. And there's usually a giant Viper wall in the way. And so that's pretty much how I play Deadlock on Breeze. Those are the go-to sensors that I do. The go-to wall that I do is just kind of hugging this corner and then tossing this wall if you do something like that, and then obviously the wall that I showed earlier and tossing it like this. And there's, unless a jet dashes trying to get you, there is no way they're going to be able to catch you in time throwing this wall down. Moving on to B, we do definitely have more variety in the wall, or in the sensors that we can use. You can do this sensor, which it does leave a big gap right here, but most people are hugging towards the right side of the wall. So that's a pretty good sensor you can do. You can do one here that denies entering the site. This one is pretty much a go-to every single round. Very good if you want to play back site. You can also do a sensor right here. Again, we want it to be as far up as we can. This is really good for denying entry into sites. You can also do a sensor like this. You don't want it to bend up too much, so that way we still get the full stun. This is a very good one at stopping specifically rushes that don't have jet, which is, again is a very rare thing for them to not have jet. But if they don't, this is a really good stun at stopping all of them, as normally jet will just dash past it and tank the stun, but this will definitely get 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 people. There is one wall that I like to do on B that this really does require you have a sky flash down here, Sova drone, Sova dart, whatever, some type of info, KO knife that reveals that they're actually coming here. What you do is you push yourself up against this box, and there's this big I don't know what you want to call this, in the middle, and there's these lines going down. You look at the top, the right one, the first one, the top of it, and you just do a normal throw. And this puts out a really good wall because, as you can see, it denies entry here, denies entry into site, and denies right of site. And you really can't entry into the default part without destroying this unless you want to go around. So this is a pretty decent wall on B, but most of the time you need some type of info. So you're basically just going to be throwing your normal walls where you stand right here and do something like that. As long as these orbs are hidden, it is a good wall. So that's just the wall that I like to do. But besides that, I don't really have any other breeze tech for you guys. The only thing is that I suggest you guys just play A every single round. There is no real reason to go B, because especially because we're going to have Viper over here. You just stick Viper and like someone else that can stall really well. And then you play A, you do this, and then you try to play off your stuns really well. But that is pretty much all the tech that I have for you guys on Breeze. And now we will be moving on to Icebox. Alright, moving on to Icebox. So first we'll start with A site, because A site is going to be the main place you are going to play. Pretty much not really going to be playing anywhere else. Alright, so starting on A, the best sensors that we're going to be wanting to do is one right here, which allows you to play back site really well, because if they push in, you get free easy kills. And also you can do this one just like on Breeze, where you can hide behind the sensor and it goes off stunning them, but you are perfectly fine. Then the other sensor you're going to want to do is up here. You can actually bend this one down just a tiny bit. And as you can see, you can hear me from all the way over here. This is a really another really good one for if they push into sight. Some sensors to do to throw off the enemies is doing this one, which is really good. It's really good because no person is really going to be looking like this. They're going to be looking like this going into the site, and this is going to be a pretty easy stun for you. I would never really throw a sensor down here because they're going to have a lot of area to hide from the stun. I would stick to stuff like on the back wall. You could do like this, but you do lose a lot of area of the stun. But if you come out like this, it's also really good because it's going to be behind them. Alright, walls for A site. We're going to be looking at this one right here, where if you throw it nice and deep, it blocks off the right side very, very hard. And then you also don't get access to the rest of the site unless you break this orb. And that's okay that we give them a little orb, because then we can funnel them into a bunch of stuns on the left of site, because this part of the site is you either have to break this orb and funnel in really weirdly. There's no reason to break this orb, so you'll have to break the main orb to gain the normal part of the entry back. Now, you could also just do this wall. This is a completely fine wall. The only problem is that, you know, you got people going up this way, you got people taking the zip line, so on and so on. And the way that we've been thinking about how to stop the entry into site, a lot of my Discord members have been putting in their own ideas, but one person, Shiro, who I have mentioned before, gave this idea of putting a wall on 410, which does sound weird at first, but I wanted to hear him out. So if you push yourself up against Jen and you look at this crack up in the ceiling, there's this part right here. You're going to be looking where it goes down right here and just going to the right a tiny bit, or just following up the pathway a tiny bit and tossing your wall, and it's going to land like this. Now, this wall does seem like a waste at first, and it does seem really weird, but here's the main point. As you can see, I cannot land on it pretty much at all, and even then, if someone does find a way to land on it, that is just, I don't know how they would even do that. So that part's covered. Then if we come over here, we can't get past this part, and if someone were to updraft or raise with satchel all over it, however they get over it, we can put a stun right here like this, to where when they updraft, like let's say like that, they're gonna get hit, and one way or another they're gonna get jumped down and get hit like this. Then we throw a sensor, whether that's there or there, and the main way of stopping this is having good timing. So this is why it's kind of a hard wall to do. This is really down to your timing. Your net is now going to become your wall, as it covers this entire area very easily. You just have to have good timing, or you can save your net and throw the net off the stun or the stun over there. But I actually think this is, weirdly enough, a pretty decent wall. It's just first off, when people see it, they're gonna be very confused, and but what it does is it basically turns Icebox into a complete, like a normal site. You can't zip line over everybody, you can't jump over everybody. It turns it into, you have to entry through this way, which then we have stuns to stop you. So, and also, I just wanted to show you that this stun does also hit the normal people. It can hit this and the people that are coming down this way. So, I just think that's a pretty unique wall that I think some people could try out in their games. And besides that, I don't really have any other tech for A. So, let's talk about attacking A. So, when you're attacking A, the best sensors that you could probably do is put one right here, because a lot of people like to swing from screens, and then you want to do one right here, which covers the top and the bottom. So if they stand right here, as you can see, they can hear it, so they can't swing off, and if they're down here, they're obviously not going to get past it as well. Or you swap this sensor out with this wall, and this is something that I think Riot will eventually patch out, but as you can see, the wall just barely peeks through the top, which makes walking through this, like obviously on this part you can walk through kind of normal. It's very finicky, but as you can see, it's very, very annoying, and then it also just blocks off sight in general. So what you do is, if people realize that the wall is doing weird stuff and they get over this way, then you just put a sensor down over here instead. If you're not doing this, then obviously walling screens is the next best option. But besides that, that is all the tech I have for A. Moving on to B site, this is a site that I really wouldn't recommend you defend, as it's very open, it's very hard to get your sensors down. But there are some upsides to it. You have very good wall spots, so if you do this, this blocks this, and all of yellow, so it's not too bad. You could do a deep sensor over here. I would have it bend, but you can do a sensor here. You can do a sensor on these right here. You can also do sensors over here. It's not horrible. It's not like a bad site to defend at all, but I would just recommend that you play A every single round and have your teammates stack towards B, because that's kind of the benefit of like Deadlock, is that once they kind of see that you're alone on site, they're probably going to just try and push into you really hard, which makes them make a ton of sound. So besides that, I don't really have any other Icebox tech for you. If you're attacking B, the best thing I can say is put your sensors on the bomb and wall over to the left side. This is pretty much what I do every single round, without it really changing. You can also put a sensor down here. So if they drop out of this, they'll get stunned. If they walk over here like this, they'll get stunned. And then this one is for when they start trying to defuse. So besides that, that is pretty much all I have for this part. So now we will be moving on to Lotus. Alright, so Deadlock on A. When you are defending, I like putting a trip right here. It really stops the raises that jump in, and pretty much no agent is going to be able to get past this. It does seem kind of basic, but most people are looking right here, and by the time that they're at this part, they're going to be looking towards sight, so they're going to get hit by that stun. And then I would just put another stun right here, entering in the site. All right. And then for a wall that you can do is you can put it right here on the top left of this rock right here, which just blocks just about everything and blocks their entry into site. Or you can also just toss it like this. It won't get broken by the door opening. Or you move your sensors into this area. I didn't put the other one over there. And right here, and then you wall this. Which is just, this isn't a bad idea. So that's pretty much how I would defend A. Now, if you are attacking A, I either put sensors here and one over here, or I take my sensors and I put them here and here, and then I play tree and I wall over here. Or, same thing, you wall over here and you put your one sensor here, and then I would pretty much always do this sensor. It's really good. It pretty much makes it to where you only have to look, be sure that they're coming from this way. So that's pretty much all the A tech that I have for you guys. We'll talk about a little bit about B tech, even though I don't think B is her best site. It's all right. It's the best at capitalizing off her util, but it is a site that doesn't really get attacked a lot, and you might as well just put someone else here. Alright, so on B, what you're going to be doing is you either put a stun right here or here, not to stop the planter, but to at least kind of get in the way, because obviously they can still plant through the stun. And then you want to put, this is pretty much the sensor you want to put every single time. You can even just give this sensor to whoever is holding B, and then just use one sensor on the site that you're holding. This is a really good sensor because most people are going to be making noise at this point. And most people don't try and shoot it. Alright, now if you are attacking B, and let's just imagine there's a smoke right here, you can very easily throw a wall like this. That's a very solid wall that will stop the C-Link people, and the reason why is unless this is broken, there's no real reason to put a wall here because we will know if they're coming from this way. Then sensors, you can, this is when I would put one right here because this also covers the people dropping out of heaven. As you can see, you can hear it. And then the other one you can just put on the bomb. You can put it up in heaven. You can put it close to you guys if they're trying to, if you think they're going to push you. But most likely you just put on the bomb because there's no real reason to put it anywhere else. And that's pretty much all the B tech that I have for you guys because there really isn't anything else that you can do too much. It is kind of a very minimal space. There isn't a lot of things to do like weird trips or anything. But what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and go on to C. And C, I would put, you can do this trip right here where it bends a little bit, or you can even just do the straight one. You can do the Bonnie sensor where if you move it up here and then angle it downwards a little, you can see, you can still hear it. You can put a sensor back here. You can put a sensor on this box. You can put a sensor deep in sight, so that way you can play up here on the wall and then kill whoever's coming in. For your wall, if you come back here and you look at the top of this entryway, and toss that wall, this will put that's a pretty good wall because if they try to break the small orb, they're going to run into this one. If they try and break this orb, they can only enter that way, so more than likely they're going to break the big orb, and this will be smoke, so it's a little harder for them to break. Now if I'm attacking on C, I pretty much just throw both of my sensors here and then waterfall because we'll know if they're coming from waterfall if they start destroying it, and anybody that tries to sneak up here, you kind of just want to bait them. You do not want to go for this kill at all. You want to bait them into these sensors. But pretty much they have no real way of getting to you because most likely you're going to have an extra teammate alive. They can worry about that. And then we worry about sight and getting the bomb to blow up. And pretty much that's all I have for you guys. You can also, if you do a sensor right here, you can do this sensor here, which a lot of people don't expect. So when they tap the bomb, this is going to go off. And this is another sensor from my Discord member Shiro. These walls, you can do the Bonnie sensor where you bend it down just a little bit. Like that. That's another one if you want to hide it a little bit better. But besides that, that's pretty much all the tech I have for you guys on Lotus. So now we will be going to Sunset. Alright, so on Sunset, you are going to primarily defend A. It is her best site. I know most people go B, and if you are facing a team that is pretty much spamming B every round, then you can rotate. But I like to defend A as I think it's the easiest. So starting with A, the setup this is a pretty new setup that I've been trying to do. So what you do is this sensor is really good because it's pretty much indestructible unless obviously you walk by it, but most likely you're gonna have a teammate here or you will be standing here doing this. And then you can either put a sensor out like this to where they're going to get stunned by it and they're going to be out in the open. Or you can put a sensor up here. This one is a little bit more finicky, but if you do that, as you can see, you can still hear it. And the only problem is that I can't see you here, but obviously you're going to get stunned way before that. So those are pretty good sensors that you can do. All right, and to further explain what I mean by sensors on one side and wall on the other is you're going to get more benefit by your sensors being here, and then walling the other area, because if they're coming this way, you can look over here and watch your sensors while they try and break your wall. And so what you're going to do is you put your sensors down over here, and then you're going to look right here. There's this spear, almost looks like a spearhead in the cracks, and if you look down where they all meet right here, they all meet here, and then you come over here. This is where they all meet. This is a tech to wall boost. So if you look to the if you look right here, you're gonna toss it, tap W once, and then touch no other movement key but just your jump. And like right as the wall comes out, you're gonna jump. You'll see me do it. And there you go. That's how you do the wall boost. As I said, it is a little finicky, and you'll have to practice it a little bit. But once you get it, it's pretty easy. You just got to know the timing is all. And then what this allows you to do is play up here. And even if you wanted to, I can't grab the sensor from here. But imagine we only put one sensor over here and we had like someone playing with the sensor. You could sit up here and have this sensor here. And then as they try and push out, they're definitely not going to expect you playing up on this box. So it'll definitely throw them off. And as they look up and try and shoot you, they're going to set the sensor off, letting you get some pretty easy kills. Now, the other thing that you would do is wall all the way back there, and then you can do one sensor on site like this, and then I like to put the sensor up like this, to where if like, I don't know, if someone just jumps up or something, like obviously they can't jump up there, but if they somehow like make their way up here and then they're going back, they'll hit it, you know, just make sure you cover everything is all. Those are the sensors that I like to do. This is more of the basic setup. And now, so let's talk about attacking A. So you can obviously you can go elbow or main. Now the basic setup is if you stand behind this wall and just kind of jump throw, you can very easily get your wall super deep. This is a very standard wall you can do, and then you drop one sensor right here, and then you drop one sensor over here, or you can take both sensors and put them on site. But if they're destroying the wall pretty fast, I would put the sensor here, and then you plant right here. And then you can go play elbow, or you can play over here, and then, or you can just play on site and react with your net. And that's like the standard way of how I would play. Now, the way that I want to get a clip with, and I just want to show this to see if anybody else can get a clip with it. This is how I would attack to hit this wall boost. So what you do is most likely this is going to be smoked by your own team. You're going to throw a nade, and you want to try and get the nade to land something like that, where it covers this entire area. So that way, if like someone is sitting in here with a flash or something, they're gonna have to pull that out before they can go, before they can flash you and try and push out. Then you're gonna put your sensor either here, or you can also do this one right here to stop people from swinging you. And you can also do this one. This is pretty much the best sensor for playing on site. Then what you're going to do is you're going to plant on this belt, and then you're going to be looking at, there's these little small triangles compared to all the other triangles. There's this one, then this one, and what you're going to be looking is you're going to be looking at the top one and the top part of it. Then you're going to do the wall boost, which is you throw the wall down, you tap W once, and then you press, you jump without pressing any other movement keys, and you just jump twice, and you can get on top of this.
Barrier deployed.
And as I said, the wall boosts are hard to do. You do have to get the timing down, but once you're up here, you can play off this sensor, because most likely this is going to be smoked, or you can throw people off by killing them if they're trying to hide. You can play off this sensor back here, and I would just explain to your teammates what you're doing and have them play elbow or main, and then you can just play on site like this. But yeah, it just allows for a big reposition that people are not going to expect at all. But pretty much that's all I have to say for A site, so let's go ahead and move on to B. Okay, so B site is a little weird in the fact that sensors are kind of sucky on this part because it's very open. So the main idea that I like to try and do is I put a sensor here as far out as I can, and then I put one sensor over here, which essentially the reason why these sensors are, in my opinion, the best is most people are going to be looking over here or up in that area when they're clearing sight. So they're going to be looking away from these sensors, and they are in the big traffic areas of sight. Because if you move this one over here like this, It does stop them from pushing in like this, but most of the time they're gonna get stunned and kind of just jump back this way. So you might as well just put the sensor over here and get the people that like to flow in the site to the left. Because if you notice, no one usually just goes in the site, like unlike Jet or Raze. They usually kind of funnel to the left or right because they're clearing the extra corners. So that's what these sensors are getting done for us. So the wall that I like to throw is, if you line, this is from my wall lineup video, if you line yourself up with this, you're going to be looking at this. You take the bottom left of your HUD and put it on top, put it on top of it, and then you jump throw. And that makes a wall like this, which is pretty neat. It does everything you need. I think you can even just normal throw it and it'll pull back even more. And just do a normal throw instead. And that has it land here, which makes this orb a little harder to break. This one is pretty easy to break, but it also makes these go back enough to where it just covers even more area. Like, you can't get past this one, but you can get past that one. So that's the wall that I like to throw. If you're literally anywhere else, you just aim for the middle like that. So like if you're playing over here for some reason, you just do something like that. So the other thing to worry about on Sunset is obviously mid, and a lot of people funnel through this area very fast. This is more if you know that, if you think that they're going to play mid, they've been playing mid a lot, you can throw this sensor right here, which is just a really good sensor because it will get them no matter what. And then you do the same thing where you throw this right here and you wall like this. But besides that, I don't really have any other B tech for you, even on attacking. There just really isn't that much to do besides basic stuff like putting the sensor on the bomb, or putting, you know, you obviously want to wall market or CT, but putting your sensors on the bomb or anywhere else on site is pretty much what you want to do. So that's pretty much all I have for Sunset. So now we will move on to the final map, that being Split. Alright, so now we are on Split. Now, the biggest thing about Split is I would say pretty much only play B. There's no real reason to play A. I will obviously show you how to play on A if you want to go over there, but B is going to be your best bet as it allows you to wall mid, and you can drop all your stuff on B, and the stuff that you do put on B is very, very good. So, starting with that, obviously, walling mid, you pretty much just run out, toss the wall. The wall is big enough now to where you don't have to worry about it not getting anything. As long as you are aiming for this general area, one wall will hit the box, one wall will hit over here, and one wall will block this off, allowing you to block off mid very well. A lot of people think like, oh, because you peek out like this, you're gonna die, blah, 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 blah. As long as you jump out and throw the wall fast enough, you're not going to die. And this is a very, very, very good wall to do for mid. It's just like doing Sage wall. Unlike Sage, though, we can do our sensors on site. So this is pretty much a bread and butter sensor. It is almost impossible to break. Razes, Jets will always set this off and accidentally hit themselves, or they will hit their teammates. And then the other sensor is just kind of up for wherever you want to put it. You can put one here. You can put one on this box. If you want to stop them from flooding the other way, you can put a sensor right here like this. And that's pretty much all I have to say about B. There really isn't anywhere else to put your sensor, like I said, right here, 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 or here. If you do have, like, if you're, like, playing double Cincy with a Sage, or you have someone that is confident in covering mid, whether you have a Jet with an op or someone else, one setup that I like to do, that I haven't, unfortunately, been able to do because nobody has really been wanting to cover mid, is you can do two sensors like this, and then throw your wall in the corner like this, which makes this, which a lot of people aren't going to expect. It covers the big orb, which means that they have to break the small orb over here, and the main way to break it is by coming out on the site. Or they will see this wall and be like, well, that's nothing to worry about, let's go this way, and they run into your stuns. And if people see this wall and they think that it's weak because it's only one wall, you always have your net to throw on top of it. And that's pretty much all I have to say for B, so let's go ahead and move on to A site. Okay, so for A site, what we're going to be doing is I pretty much always throw this sensor right here, and this is like the bind one where if you just bend it down a little, it will get all the way out to here. I pretty much would this is
Over
pretty much
there.
the sensor. You have to throw this sensor every single time. You can always do something like this instead,
Sound sensor
but
up.
that is pretty much the sensor you have to throw every single time. Honestly, same with this one. You can always do a sensor like this, but if they're worried, they might be able to get back here without the sensor hitting them. You can also play on site, but again, this is kind of a finicky one. What you do is you put both of your sensors here, and then you just wall main,
Sound
as you can
sensor up.
see. And then you can wall main, or you can put your sensors like one right there, and then one right here,
Listening.
and then you can wall like
Barrier
this,
deployed.
and this makes it to where it's very, 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 very hard to get in the site. So, that's pretty much all I have to say for B site. I can't really think of anything else. You could also put your sensors here and then go play vent, and throw your wall for mid. So that's pretty much all I have to say for all the maps. I know that I may have not described things the best or have gone over too many setups, but these are just go-to setups that you can throw down at the last second. You can have them in the back of your head, so that way you know how to play off of them every single time. The main thing about Deadlock is she rewards you trying out different things. You know, if you want to put one sensor here, or I'll put your sensors on site and fight on site, that's all up to you. It's about reactionary. She's very reactionary. But for to-go setups that you guys just, you know, if you're running out of time or if you don't know what else to play, these are your bread and butter that I think you guys should all use in ranked. If you guys enjoyed the video, I hope you guys could leave a like and subscribe and check out my Twitch for future streams. Streams are becoming daily at this point, so I hope to see you guys there. And if you guys ever want more advice, more help, any type of Deadlock tech, you can join my Discord. Link is down below. And we have plenty of people there always giving advice and always showing new tech off. So I hope to see you guys there. And with all that, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one, which is going to be a wall boost tech video. So I will see you guys next time, and have a good day.